Welcome to the Boom Boom Room, y'all, where there's no topic too big or small, where we talk about it all. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Boom Boom Room. I got a special one here with you. I got the Plague Crew. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Counting me. This is special. This is very special. I don't know how we put this together. I guess kudos to Plague. But yeah, we got the Plague Crew here. I guess, guys and gals, if you want to introduce yourselves, let everybody know who's here.
I just got back.
All right, yeah. Let's start out like alphabetical. You can edit that out in post. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever y'all want to do.
You didn't say there would be math, man.
All right.
I do not like editing, so I'm not to cut none of this out, guys.
Oh, great. Okay.
This is more fun this way.
Yeah. There you go.
I like it on the fly, but.
Yeah. My tag's Basic Boss. My name's Craig. Thanks for having me here. Happy to be here. Let's get into it.
All right,
Craig.
All right, Craig.
It's your turn.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Brittany, your resident chaotic little gremlin.
Ah.
All right. Cool.
Hi,
All
I'm
right.
Kevin. I am the Gremlins. Yes.
We don't know yet.
Occasionally
Right there.
play with Plague and the rest.
Roger that. Next, please.
That would be you, Mac.
Oh, is it? I told you I don't know math, man. MacGruber, I don't know, man. Yeah, I've been playing with Plague for probably about 2 years now. Yeah, I'm the reason he'll never be fully monetized.
Oh yeah. We laugh at that. But it's gonna be true. I just know it is.
Yeah.
Guess I'm Maywin. I end up just hanging with Plague and also being the other reason why I'll never be fully monetized.
Well, guys, I guess is that everyone? Or are we missing anybody?
Mr. Jim.
I'm Redneck Jim, and I'm the last fail safe to prevent him from getting monetized.
So, other words, you need to lose some friends, Plague. It looks like.
No. We just need to get a better. YouTube just needs to realize what we're doing here. That's all.
You might need to go to Rumble, bud. Might need to go to Rumble.
Nice.
No, but
He's just too scared. He's just too scared to get rid of us because we all have guns.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. They all know quote where I live unquote.
And Gary.
Just say that in Gary.
I have a general area.
The general. Yes, it's not hard to track someone down. Believe me.
No, I mean it's Gary
I know.
in Indiana. No one lives there.
Yeah,
Except for
exactly.
Tim.
How hard could it be? There's his house.
We're not doxing him. It's a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
Man, Gary,
not even close.
please don't tell me you live in Gary, Indiana.
No, sir. No,
Jeez.
sir.
No.
No, and
I
that's the
don't-
joke. Is it may be near, but the joke is that people from Gary don't want to admit they're from Gary, and he's like, "Well, I'm not from Gary," and ever since then, oh, dude,
Oh,
yeah,
you're
exactly.
from Gary now.
Exactly. Every
the first
kid-
thing he did was try to deny it.
Yeah,
That's just
exactly.
what somebody from Gary would say.
Rolled for my trump card.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Gary, spooky guys. I got a story for Gary when I was 14, so that's a spooky place.
Oh.
But anyway,
Wow.
yeah. Let's see here. I guess we'll get started, guys. I guess we'll start asking some random questions. And, first of all, is any of you guys wanted by the police? I'm just kidding. No,
I'm
I'm not at
cannot
liberty to
confirm or
confirm nor
deny
deny
that.
that question.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to be one.
Yeah.
Not at the moment.
Yeah, my lawyer advises me not to answer that question, sir.
Which country are
Pretty
we
sure I
talking
paid all
about?
my speeding tickets.
Yeah,
Which country?
Well,
talking about America. America right here is what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
we're talking
Man,
about
I cleared all those.
well, as long as y'all was taking the care of that. But I guess guys, gals, I'm just gonna say guys and stuff. You always say guys,
Yeah.
even though I'm, gaming with females and stuff and friends that are of that gender. But I mean, y'all game. Every one of you guys game together at the moment.
Well, unfortunately, Brit's still isn't playing DayZ yet, but I think we're gonna get her there tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, all of us have met through playing DayZ.
Roger. Any particular server or just DayZ in general?
I
I
believe
think a
with
lot of them Bear Mountain was the,
Yeah.
was the biggest one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I met the group was Bear Mountain.
yeah.
Crazy.
Jim.
Different
think Jim-
times and areas.
Yeah. So it was Jim and Craig were the only ones that really didn't meet up on Bear Mountain, and it's not their fault. They know that there's other servers out there. They decided to go with some other server other than Bear Mountain, but it's okay. We forgive them.
Well, so did we. So
Yeah.
Well, no,
yeah.
I met Plague because I was watching him. He was He was a good pastime for me when I was working on my servers, and so I just decided to start talking
doing
to him.
everything wrong.
Craig-
Like, what is
Craig's
this guy
a
talking
fan.
about? It's fan.
I was a
boy.
fan. Yeah, I was a fan at first.
He's a fan first.
Fanboy.
I actually watched.
Nothing wrong with that, being a fan.
Yeah.
But Plague was mentioning earlier. I don't know how I met Plague through somebody. It might have been Chronic. I don't know who it was. I forget.
Yeah, I think it was Chronic or Coma. Mentioned to check out some of your stuff, and it's like, yeah, man. It's like as soon as I found your channel and your content, I'm like, this guy games and he's funny as hell.
I don't think
So it's just kind of like instant. Not anymore? What?
Yeah, I don't think since I've been neutered. I don't think I'm funny. So.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know Plague streamed when I met him.
Well, I didn't. I think it took
You
me
kind
like a
of
good
didn't
6
really.
months.
I pushed you to do it more, but
Yeah, you and Lucky.
yeah.
I mean, there's another person that we used to game with on Bear Mountain, Lucalos. He was a content creator, and I think I saw one of his posts inside the Bear Mountain Discord. He was at Northwest Airfield with some of the mama bears, and like the way he was talking and just joking about it, I'm like, this guy's kind of funny. Let me reach out to him because I wanted to figure out how to set up, streaming. And I eventually got in contact with him. We talked for a few minutes, and he was nice enough to help me out, figure out what I had to do because I tried a couple of streams at first, but my setup wasn't really organized or really wasn't set up correctly. So you spent a good 45 minutes helping me with the settings up, and from there it was golden. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I'm able to do all of this, and every time a streamer asks me for help, I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead and help you. Let me show you what I learned, something that might help you out, So I've been trying to pay it forward since, Lucky spent the time with me, because being able to get your videos out there or, your commentary out there to anybody out on the web, I think that's a really good thing because that opens up the ability to make connections like we all have. If it wasn't for gaming, I never would have met any of these guys and girls. So for me, gaming was like, hey, it opens up a new world. And I'm old school internet where it's like, I really saw what they were trying to do with the internet. It's like, it's not you're talking to somebody next door. It's you're talking to somebody on another continent across the world. And, you're able to form friendships over that. You might never meet that person overseas, but with that technology, that's what they were trying to go for.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the ability to be able to game it and hang out with all these guys on a daily basis while we're gaming and hanging out, just shooting the shit. So I have to. Every time I think of Lucky, it's like I got to say thank you to him because of that.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Probably a question, to you. But what made you start a channel? I mean, what got you?
It really got me going to where I first started watching a lot of PvP content. I don't want to name any names because just I don't want to do that. But I watched a lot of content creators that were 100% PvP. I did not see one PvE content creator.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted to let people know that, hey, there's another way to play DayZ. You don't have to be PvP, thinking that you're going to die all the time. There's something called PvE where the environment is trying to kill you. And what I wanted to do and still want to do is to let everybody know that, hey, you can play DayZ and you can get on servers where you get super rich after like 3 days, finding everything that you want, and selling everything, and you're good for the rest of the wipe. Or you find a hard server where you have to basically survive to get somewhere, to build a base, to get to a trader, to talk to other players. And there's everything in between. And I wanted to show people that you can play DayZ different ways.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because, I think in general, because I'm on a lot of forums, that DayZ community, probably the most toxic community I've ever seen, the PvP part of it. It is. I mean, I'm on like probably 16 or 18, Facebook groups. You know what I mean? Now the PvE ones are not, but as far as the PvP ones are,
I'd say Rust PvP is far more toxic.
No, it probably is because I don't, deal with the Rust.
Well, it's just because Rust allows some certain creativity that DayZ doesn't allow by users. So it becomes far more disgusting when you go around on those unmoderated servers. Worst on DayZ, you'll hear somebody cuss at you and say some things. You might even see some in-game items which are risque, but you won't see just blatant racism.
No. Well, I think that's on any game to a certain extent, but it's monitored, and stuff. But I mean, as far as like from what I've seen, if you get on a post on Facebook or something, and you're in third person, I'm not trying. Forgive my French, but they'll call you a pussy because you're playing in third person. I see that a lot. It's not encouraging. You know what I mean? And I understand.
They think you're cheating.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I grew up with Xbox Live. I just ignore that. I'm like, yeah, okay, I still play in third person. Kiss my ass.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I'm going to do what I want to do.
I was immune.
Yeah, but it's.
It's up that same alley as people saying, "Oh, you use the noob tube in Call of Duty. Well, you are just a noob. You're a wuss. You're this. You're that." It's like, it's an element in the game. What's wrong with using it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But circle
part of the game.
Circling back to what Plague, about making a channel and PvE and the reason why, it's I agree with you. That was a good idea, and that's what I know, that I'm not a full-time DayZ channel, but PvE, but I do enjoy, DayZ a lot, and I always circle back to it. It's a big part of my channel, but also like playing other games too. But I agree with you, and I think you got a good thing going with that Plague and stuff. But do you guys is there any like special story how y'all met or anything, any one of y'all, or you got stories about that, or it was just regular hey hi?
It was kind of like regular high. I know when we met when I was building BBP ramps off of a base that I had on Bear Mountain, and we spent a couple hours just jumping different vehicles and trying, a few different things out.
Yeah.
I'd seen Plague on on Bear Mountain quite a bit, and at first I thought he was too damn talkative and wouldn't shut up, but it was okay, you know. And I ignore chat, but then I'm driving down coastal on Chinaris, and there's Plague building ramps, screaming, "Jump it, jump it, jump it!" So we jumped it.
Yeah.
As far as me, I was playing with another streamer at the time, and we were trying to go to the black market on a Deer Isle server, and we sent out the SOS because it wasn't a very nice black market, and I knew Plague from watching him on streams and stuff, and when he hollered back and said, "Yeah, meet me here," that's where we all met up at, and that's where I kind of started my friendship with Plague at that point, really.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. I believe with Mac, I think it was with Zephyr. Yeah, Zephyr was like a real intricate part of the group, but he's on vacation right now. But yeah, I think Maywen was with the Zephyr, if I remember right. But yeah, I mean,
Maywen was later.
Yeah. And then Kev, it was on Bear Mountain. I think
we were at Rogo Trader walking around saying, "Hey, who wants to go hunting bears?" And I'm like, all I have is a bear tack. And you're just like, that'll kill bears. Come with us. And it was like, all right. And like we went through one horde just fine. Then we got to the second horde, and someone shot and attracted everything before we were ready. And then we got swarmed by bears. And one of the other guys that we played with, Broomy.
Right.
Yeah.
He shot and destroyed my bear tag.
The only weapon he could defend himself with.
So, how long y'all all known each other?
Couple of years.
Year and a half with me and Blake.
3. Yeah.
Been about that now.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good long time. Do y'all look in the future of just sticking with DayZ, or is there any games that y'all really are excited about playing?
Well, like we've all tried different games in the past. You know, I've streamed a few different games. Maywen's done a few different games as well. He's streamed. But I mean, you know, like you said, we always circle back to DayZ. You know.
Yeah, DayZ is like the ultimate unifier. It's like just a bonding building game. Like you can have a really bad experience, like you were talking about, but you can have really, really good experiences. First, one of the first. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, dude.
One of the first group members that I actually ever ran with years ago when I first started playing has actually just passed away this year, and it was a kind of a big deal because it was like, wow, it's the first time. You know, I didn't know the person, never met him in person, but it was a great person. As far as I know, playing with them and everything that we did for the years. So it builds definitely, you know, some I think relationships that you might not have otherwise built outside. And I think that's for any game too, maybe. And I like PvE for that sense as well, like Plague was talking about too. It's more of a, hey, we're together, we're facing the environment, you know, let's survive this world together.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there's a lot of PvE servers, guys, that are hard. You know, they're super hard. And I get in the mood. I don't know about you guys. Sometimes just to play one that I know that it's going to be slim chance to get into the trader. I've played a lot of those, and I play a lot of cool sci-fi ones, yeah. But I think DayZ, the game in general, I know probably you guys agree, it's a great game. It can be anything, you know, any kind of server. That's what's cool about it. And even though I get sick of it, I always circle back to it.
Yeah, and you know that's kind of a good point to bring up is with the modding community. You know, you have the ability, and I say this, I feel like I'm a broken record sometimes, but I feel like there's so much that you can do with the modding community and any type of DayZ server that you can think of that you can play. You know, it's kind of like, hey, if you're not having a good experience on this server, you know, figure out what type of server you want to play. You want to be in the Wild Wild West? There's a server for that. You want to do an all hunting server? There's a server for that. You want to do a Fallout? You want to play Fallout and DayZ at the same time? there's a server for that. Star Wars, sci-fi, horror, easy, hard.
Dressed up in Halo armor.
Exactly. You know, that's the
Teletubbies.
beauty. Yeah, Teletubbies. Yeah, I forgot about that one. But yeah, there's all sorts of servers out there. It's just trying to find one that you like. You know, and then if you like the server, you need to make sure that the community that's there is a really good community, because community and an admin team can either make or break a server, I feel. Because, you know, if you plan on spending any amount of large time at a server, you need to have the admin team that helps out the players when they need it. And you need to have a community that you can ask for help, that you can team up for and have a good time, you know, and make new friends along the way like we all have here.
Yep, exactly. Because I notice a lot of those PvE servers, when you jump on and you go to the, you go to the trader, 9 times out of 10, they're like, hey, here, I got this gun. Hey, here's this piece of armor. You know, they're always somebody's always wanting to help you. And then, you know, if you don't want, you know, that extra push, you know, you'll say, nah, I'm good. I want to, you know, take the full, you know, experience on. Yeah, and that's what's cool about it. But coming to you, Plague, do you take your channel serious? Where do you see your channel in the future? I mean, what are you setting it subscriber wise right now?
I think I'm over like 650 and change. You know, I had thought about a couple of times just kind of like, hey, I'm gonna try this full time. You know, but I know, but then at least for me, reality kind of set in. I go, okay, bills, you know, like all of that stuff, you know. And it was kind of like, yeah, in reality right now, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. You know, I'm hoping that the channel is always gonna be about showing off what you can do with DayZ. Or with other games that I might find like, oh, cool, this is a cool game. You know, like we played Fallout 76 for 3 or 4 months, I think. And, you know, I was trying to stream everything I could so people could see what Fallout 76 was. It's kind of like trying to bring an experience to somebody that was like, well, I don't know if I want to buy Fallout 76, and go, hey, what's this stream about? You know, what is this group doing on the server? And just showing them like, hey, this is what you can do. And I kind of see our channel kind of be more like an education. Come on. You know, if it kind of be like educational when it comes to some type of gaming, or at least you can see what the game, what it could be possible, you know? That's the way it started out with DayZ, and I kind of try to do the same thing with some of the other games that, you know, that we've streamed and had fun on. I don't think it's ever going to be like full time. You know, it would be nice to be able to hang out with everybody, you know, full time, but I don't think that's ever going to be possible. As long as I can have fun with the videos, you know, with the group hanging out, you know, that's all I'm interested in doing.
You know, different people start channels for different reasons. Like me, you know, I won't talk about myself a lot, but I started because, you know, I don't work. I'm retired because of my health, and I just started because I was gaming with friends. Why don't you start a channel? You know, it's your gaming anyway in your spare time or whatever. Well, you're all the time. So I started it that way, and you know, if whatever somebody wants to do is fine, but I think if you go in it thinking you're going to make a living right off, you know, Jump Street.
Right off the bat, yeah.
You got a reality. I mean, I know people that's got, you know, 30, 40,000 subscribers and they're not making any money. I think, you know, and so I think that I've seen a lot of people burn out too, you know, and quit. But what my favorite thing about it, you know, is meeting, like you said, meeting people. I think I've made lifelong friends. You know, that's it. Just like doing this podcast, you know, my main channel's gaming. I've met some other podcasters that are really good friends now in the cryptid community. You know, we'll get around talking about that. I'll ask you questions about that, but you know, yeah, man, it's experience, and there's some bad times. I had a subscriber named Mitchell. He'd come with some DayZ. That's, you know, he like he'd watch me DayZ, and I know he was sick, you know, with cancer, and then you know, he was telling me his last time that I talked to him, he's like, man, I just, you know, it was sad. You know, I don't want to bring this up. It's sad, but it's reality. And he said, I just want to stay, you know, alive long enough to, you know, see my kid I want to see grandkids, you know. And then the next thing I know, you know, his son's getting a hold of me. He said, you know, Dad passed away, and that's sad, you know. I'm glad I met him, you know, through gaming and my channel, and you know, and gamed with him a little bit, but he was more of a watcher, you know, when he's in the hospital on and off. But it was sad, but, you know, met some incredible people through that, and I get to encourage them too, you know, in certain situations. But yeah, I enjoy your channel, Plug. You know, it's hard, dude, to get around to everybody's channel and just sit there and watch them. Because I'm really busy. I got 2 channels, and even though I'm retired and don't work, I stay freaking busy because I try to support a lot of people, you know, and I got friends, all my friends I support. But yeah, it's hard, dude, to get around to everybody, even though you're retired. But anyway, is there anything else you want to talk about game-wise? Feel free.
Kind of like, what was everybody's first game? Whether it was a console game, an arcade game, a game on on PC. Let's see who can outdate. You know, who has the oldest game, or like what, you know, just kind of see when you guys started gaming. How about that?
I had Space Invaders on an Atari 6400 on a black and white TV.
Nice.
Dang, he is Stone Age. Fred Flintstone.
Yes, and yes.
Yeah. The earliest one I remember was on a ColecoVision, where it was like cops and robbers, I think. You know, there was like hamburgers involved and like a bunch of crazy stuff. Yeah, so that was my earliest memory of gaming.
I mean, is that like earliest memory, or is that just like one you actually really played? Because
well, no, that was the earliest one. The one that that I really played was Counter-Strike, back when I was working for a web hosting company. You know, I had very crappy internet at home, but hey, you know, we had a nice big old OC3 coming into our data center. So I'm like, hey, I'll start playing, you know, Counter-Strike, because there were a couple of the other techs were playing Counter-Strike, and we're like, okay, who's not working this weekend? You know, and we're all like, so-and-so's on the shifts. We're like, okay, cool. We'll have a little mini LAN party on Saturday and Sunday. So we would just do that on the weekends, you know. So that was the first game that I played. And 1 second, Mac. And this all leads me to how crazy my keybinds are. I'm always getting crap from these guys about my keybinds, and they're like, "Wow, how do you play like that?"
About keybinds. How did I know?
Yeah. Well, because that's how I got my crazy keybinds. So that's my first real gaming experience.
So most everybody probably Atari or Nintendo.
Yeah. First one was
Atari. When I say Atari, I actually at 4 was playing Space Invaders quite a bit. I had ET, but I couldn't figure it out because that game sucked.
Yeah, that game. I remember.
Yeah, that was hard. Yep.
Is it a bad time to then just
had several hours of just sitting there at well, it was because I had a black and white TV, and ET was like 4 colors, so it was not. It didn't make a lot of sense.
I'm gonna go ahead and just firsthand apologize for what this is about to make y'all feel. My first console was a Wii.
Oh my god! Okay.
I never had a Wii.
Yeah, me either.
I hate you. I hate you, Kevin.
At GameStop when we quit selling the GameCube and started selling the Wii.
Yeah, my parents were not wanting me to play video games growing up, because they were like, it's going to affect your schooling, and it did. And
that's kind of like buying your kid an Apple computer, expecting them not to play games. It's like, it's going to stun them, but they're going to figure out a way.
But my first console was a Wii. And if I remember, the first game that I got for the Wii was a Need for Speed Carbon, and my brother got Medal of Honor Vanguard.
Don't lie, it was Hunter's Crossing. You know it was.
Man.
Wong was my first game I played. First online game was originally, I think it was called Isle of Kasami, but it's now called Kingdom of Drakkar.
Oh,
And it's actually still active.
yeah.
Oh wow.
It was like one of the first 3 main MMO RPGs ever on the internet.
Yeah, I've heard that. I heard about that game. I never actually played it, but yeah, I was, coming up console. We couldn't afford. We were really poor with, having a PC. I didn't have a PC until I was first married, and I was playing World of Warcraft and Diablo. So
Yeah, same.
yeah, but I remember having a Wii with my kids. But see, gaming with me is very special. I don't know if it's special to you guys because when my kids were smaller, now they're in their 20s, early and late 20s. Before me and her mom got divorced, that was our time that we spent together. It was gaming. All three.
Oh, nice.
My daughter and my son, and then my son, he games now. He'll come back. We live together. We've been living together. We got a townhouse together for 2 years, and he'll come home from work, man, and he'll 9 times out of 10 he'll be gaming, and he's a good kid. He ain't on drugs, and doesn't do any, he's not running around. So proud of him. And then my daughter, she's 22, and she met her boyfriend through gaming.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and she moved to Jersey with him. I met him and everything before he moved up there. Of course, I told him I was going to kill him. If he doesn't think so, straight up. But he's an IT guy, and he's like 3 years older than me, but he's very, very intelligent, smart, and got a good job and everything like that. So, I how it is with kids. I was trying to tell her, do what you want to do, make yourself happy. But it's a big move moving from Oklahoma to Jersey, but.
Yeah,
But gaming, like I said, gaming's a big part of my life. It really is. And I don't know about you guys, how you feel about this. I'm just, like I said, I'm not, but it helps my mental health too. I think it does, take depression off of me and stuff like that. Now it can stress you out, but it doesn't me. I try not to get them high stress situations gaming, but.
Yeah,
video games were the reason me and Brady started dating.
Oh, was that how you guys met?
Y'all ever hear the game It Takes Two?
Yep.
Me and Britt played that game when we started off, just kind of hanging out on Xbox. And originally, she was dating someone else. And we got about halfway through the game. We kind of took like a couple weeks hiatus from the game. And then her boyfriend had broken up with her. And she was just absolutely wrecked. She was crying. So I said, hey, how about we go play this game? Get your mind off it. And we finished out the game, got traumatized by the elephant scene. And then this is 2022, and that I think 2022 I went and visited her for Thanksgiving, and I had asked her out, and then we started dating.
That's cool.
Oh wow.
Y'all live close to each other? Or? Oh, pretty far.
I live down in Missouri. She lived up in Minnesota, and
yeah.
So it was about an 8-hour trip between our houses. But about, I think, 6 to 7 months into our relationship, I rented a U-Haul trailer, borrowed my mom's truck, and drove the 8 hours north and picked her up and brought her back.
Oh wow.
Wow.
That's cool. Yeah, I used to work up in Minnesota a lot in the summer in North Dakota, and Minnesota's an interesting state because some people it's like there's no middle ground, either really nice or big assholes.
Really?
Yeah.
Britt's sitting here on our little love sack. That's the actual name of the pillow that we got. But she's sitting on it right now, and she's got her DS out.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, she's just with like the biggest grin, just kind of like, yep, in agreement.
Come on, Britt. Come on, join in the conversation. What's
Wait.
Minnesota really like, and is the story that Kevin said really true? You know,
It
Minnesota.
is. Both of them are true. Like, there's no in between.
No.
You get some really nice, the like stereotypical Minnesota nice. And you get some people that just for some reason are just giant assholes for no reason.
Yeah, it is, and hard to find good food up there too, because the South uses a lot of seasoning, and they're like just meat and potatoes, just meat. And
Well,
potatoes.
none of the seasonings survive the cold.
Yeah. I mean,
and
Everything's frozen.
yeah, and the whole meat and potatoes is just like the Midwest. It's like you pick any of the Midwest states, and it's like meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
You know, that's basically it. You know,
That's my birthday meal.
nice,
I mean, there
nice
is-
big old steak.
There is a reason why Missouri is known for something called a hot dish.
yeah.
It's all just tater tots and cheese and
Tater tot hot
No.
dish.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's ground beef,
Yeah, ground
usually
beef.
like a can of creamed mushroom with some like frozen veggies. It's usually like corn, beans, and carrots. And then you put like shredded cheese in it, and then you top it off with tater tots, and then you toss that in the oven.
Dang.
Oh,
Sounds good.
man, that sounds amazing right now.
Yeah. Missouri's interesting state. I used to travel to Midwest a lot, mostly Western Missouri. I'd hang out. So yeah, interesting. But that's what I gotta get into. This is one of my favorite subjects, guys. Because we can bounce back to gaming and stuff. Are y'all guys, anybody into supernatural? Interested in that?
I used to do paranormal research.
Oh, did
No,
you?
you didn't.
Yep.
Wow.
Used to go out with a paranormal team, and we'd go to Fort Reno here in Oklahoma, and go investigating.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Oh, so
See, you learn something new every day.
really? That's cool.
Well,
So is
Well,
that Jim that's from
Yep.
Oklahoma?
Yep.
What part of Oklahoma?
Close to the central, but more to the west central.
Okay, because that's where I'm kind of. Well, I grew up in Oklahoma my whole life, and been all over the state, and grew up in eastern Oklahoma, and which I live on the line Oklahoma and Arkansas. So yeah, Oklahoma is very interesting. And I got a good friend we've made some videos on this channel. He's a paranormal investigator from Wisconsin and stuff. But that's cool. That's cool that you used to.
You know where Kingfisher is?
Yes, I know where Kingfisher is. Yep, exactly. I know where it
If
is.
you head west out of Kingfisher, there's a house there at the edge of town that has a silhouette of a Bigfoot right by the tree line.
Okay. See, well, it's been years since I've been there, Jim. But it's been a long time. And my oldest brother used to own an asphalt company, and he was doing some work around there. And me and my middle brother, we the liquor store. We done some work on the liquor store, and the guy that owned it at the time, I think he was. I don't know if he was a black gentleman or dark-skinned gentleman. He had dreadlocks, and I remember him. But it's been years ago. It's been a long time, but we done some work on the liquor store. But yeah, I know where Kingfisher is. I used to hang out at Enid, Guthrie, a lot of them places. But before I get into the Bigfoot situation, you got me intrigued. But is anybody else into supernatural or cryptids or anything like that?
No, I don't. I think Jim sounds like Jim's the only one.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of have like for me it's kind of and please don't take offense to this, guys, but it's just kind of like the only thing with the paranormal stuff I've ever seen is what is it, Ghost Hunters? I think it was,
That's
and it's just kind of like, I I wasn't sold at all because it's like, you're on TV, you have all the equipment, and to me
Yeah.
it just really seemed really fake. And I've never had any experience with this, so I really don't know like if I believe in ghosts or not, because I've never had anything happen to where I can say, oh, that was a ghost. I think we all have that feeling like, hey, somebody's watching out for me. If you think something's gonna, where something bad's about to happen, then all of a sudden, it stops. I don't think that's like ghost related or any type of paranormal, but yeah, I just never had any type of, I would say,
Seen a
paranormal
ghost.
experience.
I
Sorry,
think they started off honest, but after a while, I think the publicity just got to their head.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I used to watch my son when we were kid. He was a kid. He liked watching them, and I got friends that are in the cryptid community, that are podcasters, and that know that are friends with some guys way up on the totem pole. My friend Daniel. He's been on my podcast, and he's got a podcast called the Cryptid Podcast, and he just had Ron Moorhead on there, and he's helping Ron Moorhead. If anybody knows about cryptid, know who Ron Moorhead is. And he's it's something called the Sierra Sounds. If you guys get a chance, look it up. He first got it supposedly, got recorded Bigfoot vocalization, and here's how I see it about the cryptids. A while back, probably 15 years ago, I wouldn't have laughed at you, but I didn't really believe in it, which I believed in the supernatural because I'm a spiritual person in the way I grew up, and then personal experiences, but I don't ever make fun of anybody, if they believe a certain way. I've never been that person to laugh at people in any way, of their belief, like faith-wise. I've got friends that are atheists. I've had friends that were Wiccan. I've had friends that were Hindu. I don't make fun of other people's religion, but like the cryptic thing, there's no way, some people say, ain't no way that can be, man. There's a lot out there we don't understand. And if you just sit and think that it's just us and, us walking around working and coming home and sleeping, and that's all that's in this big old world, I think you got things twisted. But yeah, so it sounds like Jim's the only guy that really into the supernatural, right?
Yeah, I had to step away. I'm sorry. I just came back.
It's all good.
I seen a ghost.
Yeah, go ahead. Like the outline of a ghost, like the body of a ghost. Like I've never seen a ghost. So I don't know what they look like other than what you see. I've
had an experience. I'll put it that way.
Let's hear it if you want to share it.
Granted, it's as many incredible experiences are, and it starts out with there was a lot of weed involved and the old piece of shit pickup and teenagers, but it is an experience nonetheless. But yeah, when I was young, and I'm 45 now, so this has been a while. There's where I live in East Texas. And I guess a couple miles down the road, I live way out in the country, a good 15 miles outside of town. And down the road from my house, there's this area called Homer Cemetery Road, and Homer Cemetery is it's still used, like they still bury people there, but it's a very old, like there's Civil War stones and stuff, so it's a very old cemetery as well. And it was always rumored to have weird things happen. They never really wanted to use the haunted word, but strange stuff happened, lights and things. People would see stuff and stuff like that all the time, and so me and my friends, we decided to be brave, and we loaded up in my old GMC pickup, and we drove down to the cemetery one day, and we were hanging out, and this is after dark, and we're hanging out in the parking lot. There's like a little 4-car strip outside the chain link fence. And we're kind of just sitting there chilling, and radio's playing, lights are on, so needless to say, I'm running my battery. But often on the other side of the graveyard, there's this light that shows up, and it's kind of coming between the headstones, sort of walking away from us, but along the fence line on the opposite end of the graveyard. And, one of the guys sees it, and he's like, "What's that?" So all three of us saw it. We're all looking at it or watching this, and it's like a lantern, like a yellow light. I don't want to say lantern because it didn't have a shape, but I mean, if you can imagine what like an old gas lantern from a distance would look like, yellow, kind of a round, I don't know, just a light. And it was moving off, and one of the guys that's with us, he in a moment of wisdom, he calls out to him, "Hey, who is that?" He just yells real loud, and the light stops. And it starts coming towards us instead. Like, it's still slow, but it's making its way towards us now, and it's like, okay, that's not good. And we at first we're still thinking it's somebody. But then there's nobody with the light, and it's just this light. And I can see it in my headlights. There's nobody. There's just this light. And it's getting closer and closer, and we're all getting, we're starting to freak out. So we jump back in the truck, and I'm cranking the car, trying to get it to go, and turn the engine over, and the light's getting closer and closer. And right as the light gets to the hood of the car, the whole truck dies. Like, just no power at all. Like, the lights turn off, the radio turns off. We're in pitch black. Not a sound. Like, you can't hear crickets anymore. You can't hear cicadas no more. There's no birds. This is normal night sounds are gone. It's dead silent. And that's it. We didn't say a word. I waited a few minutes and tried the car again, cranked it up, put it in reverse, and we left and dropped everybody off. And we didn't say a word about it to each other ever since. It's kind of been.
Do you think it was an orb? Was it an orb or?
No.
Just a light.
Just a light, yeah. I don't know. It was just it was a yellow. I remember it was yellow. Like an old kerosene lamp kind of color.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those before. And they're really famous in Missouri, Joplin, Missouri. The spook light, you can Google that. And I've seen the Marfa lights. But East Texas, I've got a video. I got a friend that he got a video from his friend. It's going around in the cryptid community, and it's basically a Bigfoot. And it's basically what's happened is. It's a guy had a cage, a homeowner, and because of raccoons, and it was made out of he welded it out of old refrigerators, like old refrigerator things, grates, and you could see the silhouette of it walking, and behind this 8-foot fence at night. And it bends down and peels it back like a sardine can and walks away. And, I've had some people look at it and say, I don't see anything, which that's your opinion, fine. But yeah, East Texas has got a lot of activity, that Northeast Texas especially.
I live right outside of Rayburn. I live right in the middle of the Davy Crockett National Forest. So it's southeast. Yeah.
Yeah, you're there, dudes.
We got a lot of big pigs around here too that get mistaken for. And when I say big pigs, I mean just Google Pigzilla or Hogzilla, I believe was what it was killed. It was like 500-pound javelina that was killed out here. It's bigger than the bed of a truck.
Oh yeah.
About 500-pound.
Yeah, it was bigger than the bed of a full-size pickup. Like they had to use a front-end loader to carry it around.
Yeah.
A whole lot of bacon.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's just one animal, and those are common here. It was a big one, but they do get 300-400 pounds. So I mean that. But yeah, there's a what do you call it? A Bigfoot in the East Texas woods in this area. There's been legend about it for years, and all the way from the Caddo Indians, they've talked about it.
Yeah. You say about Bigfoot. I got a friend that he had a dog man chase his. I've got people that I know that seen Dogman, and I guess werewolf or dog man, whatever you want to call it. But and they're around associated with cemeteries. They hang out. That's what I was saying. And then I got some other friends in the cryptid community. They went and done a little boots on the ground thing last weekend, and the Sasquatch Holler is the name of their channel. My friend Roger, but they captured a orb on the thermal, a wicked ass looking orb, you know. But the paranormal to me, it's very interesting, and I've met some cool people and got some good friends out of, you know, the cryptid community. And besides that, has anybody else had anything happen supernatural wise?
Well, when I was over at Fort Reno, it was our first day there. We went in during the daylight hours so we could walk around and kind of get a view of the place before we went in and investigated. We were downstairs in one of the old Victorian houses in the basement, and underneath the stairwell, there was like a little hollowed out area where you could get to the rest of the house. Underneath the rest of the house, like to get to the plumbing and stuff or whatever was needed to be done on that end. And I didn't want to crawl on the ground to get her through that hole because it was nasty down there. So I just stuck my camera down there and took a picture and pulled it back out, and the screen was all pixelated. And I went, oh, that's weird. Took another picture, and all I got was the picture of an old dead skunk. Well, I had my audio recording at the same time, just to see if I'd get anything. And the point where I go, oh, well, that's weird. All of a sudden, I heard a female voice go, behave.
Right.
And after about 10 minutes, me and the other guys were like, okay, we're going to go upstairs. Let's go check out the rest of the house.
Hold on. Did that not freak you out?
Well,
when you heard that voice? Oh, you didn't hear it at the time.
Yeah. So as we're going upstairs, she starts crying. And that was the only time I ever caught her voice. I got home that night after we done all this investigating and stuff, and I started going through all my audio files, and I was listening to that one, and that's when I heard it. And yeah, we all were like, wow, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I never actually have seen anything. I've just heard.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
All right, so let me ask you this then, Ashes. What do you think about movies or games that portray stuff like that? Do you think that TV shows or movies are legit, or what some game developers have in their games? Do you think that's kind of legit, or are they all just trying to, go for that money grab?
I think it's both combination of both, because if you look at like technology, you know what I mean? Like, look at all the movies back in the past about technology, and all of them come true. You know, a lot of the AI stuff, and it just seems like they're kind of predicting the future on some movies. But yeah, I mean, I'm a real spiritual person. I think that I don't believe that there's me personally, there's like, if somebody dies and they're gonna haunt you. I don't believe that. I believe there's fallen angels, and there's good angels and bad angels, and demons, demonic entity. So, yeah, it's all possible, man. I've seen things before, so and like I said, I respect people who don't believe in that. I'm not going to tolerate somebody making fun of somebody else, while I'm around, but I don't, it's all
I will say,
possible.
since I've gotten older, I haven't had much happen to me, but it might be because of life-changing stuff. But when I was younger, I do have a couple experiences, but I had friends. We played the Ouija board. And apparently that opens up a lot of portals, or welcomes a lot of stuff, or something like that is what I've been told. But when I was younger, I had friends. We all played the Ouija board at a lot of different places, and there was a lot of interesting things that it had told us on there about the afterworld and what goes on over there, which is very weird because I don't think any of my friends at that time could have or would have made any of that stuff up. And we played a lot of times. We played at my house, and apparently where I was from in Napa, California. Napa is an Indian name, and it was a huge Indian place out there. And I guess there was a lot of Indian burial grounds, a lot of dead activity. We'd play in my house, and it would be like we would get different characteristics. I tell you, like 5 or 6 different characteristics would come on the Ouija board and would act out. And that's why it doesn't make me believe that some like one person was faking this. Because I played with multiple different people in my house, and I still got the same personalities out of there. And I did see 2 of those things. One of them was a little girl, and on the Ouija board we did encounter a little girl. But I went upstairs one night, and I was blowing my nose in the bathroom. And I heard something, and I looked in the mirror, and the way that the mirror goes, it looks back into the hallway, and you can see the doors of the rooms. And behind the master bedroom, there was a kid looking out, like I could see half of their body. And I was literally grabbed the Kleenex to blow my nose, looked at myself in the mirror, and saw that. And as I turned around, there was nobody there. Scared the shit out of me. I went downstairs. My mom and sister were just downstairs laying on the couch, and I looked at my mom, and I was like, she's like, what the fuck happened? And I was like, I just saw a little girl ghost. That was the first time. The second time, I was actually like almost 18. I came home from school all by myself. And at this point, I was done with the Ouija board. I actually felt that we'd felt it was causing a lot of drama. We got rid of it, but the ghosts in our house, we could still feel their presence sometimes. So anyway, I came home one day, and I was by myself, and just came home, go upstairs, and when you're walking upstairs, the floor creaks. After years of the house being around, you just know the creaks in your house. So I walk down the hallway, go in my room. When I go in my room, it's a certain creak. And I heard it again after I walked in, like a second later. So I was like, sounds like somebody's following me, right? So I just immediately turn around. I turn around, and the only thing that was in my doorway was like a 7-foot tall figure that it was just dark. And it looked like, have you ever seen a scrambled TV? It's black and white. Mm-hmm. And it looked just like that. And it looked like it was stepping backwards. So it was fading away. And scared the shit out of me. And I hopped on my bed, and I just sat there for a minute like I didn't know what to do. And those are the 2 times that I actually saw something. There's been times where I've heard stuff, and stuff is, I think, told me like to be quiet at some points, because I used to blare my music and certain things that happened. But those are the 2 times I actually did see something. Ever since I moved out of that house, my parents did break up. There was a whole lot of crazy shit going on. And ever since I moved out of that house, I've never had any ghost experiences or anything after that in my life.
Yeah, I believe you. See, I got a friend, matter of fact, guys, check it out. I've done a couple videos with him, and I'm releasing a video this Wednesday with him. He's my friend Voodoo. He's a paranormal investigator. He's got a Ouija board. But yeah, Ouija board is not good to mess with, my opinion, because it ain't actually the piece of wood. It's what you're doing, what you're doing, the act of you opening yourself up to spirits. Because about 6 years ago, me and my ex, we were raising her nephews. They was in a bad. Their stepdad, was abusing them, physically abusing them, mentally. So we was trying to raise them, and one of them, we went to school, and he come back, and I'll try to make this kind of short, but he basically was telling us, and he was very smart. He wasn't like, he didn't have any mental problems. He said, there's a lady that's whispering in my ear, and I set him down because, well, my faith and what I believe, I've tackled, these situations like this. I told him, I said, dude, well, what's going on? He says, it looks like my aunt here, and, it's whispering in my ears telling me to do bad things. And I prayed about it and stuff, and I come to him, it was like a day later, said, dude, what did you do? And I know what he was fixing to tell me. They played with the Ouija board. And he finally told me I played with the Ouija board. I said, well, you need to pray about it and stuff like that. So he went out of town, and when he went out of town working with his dad, was the next day he was gonna come home, and I haven't felt their presence in that house. It was an older house. I had a lot of stuff go on there, the time we lived there, but I lived there about 5 years. But anyway, the day before he was coming home, I was fixing to jump in the shower, and the way the house was, it was an older house, and the garage was made into a bedroom, and then they had a bathroom in it, and right there it had one of those like see-through curtains kind of, and I felt a presence in there. It was a good presence, and it's the first time I've actually physically seen an apparition or anything, or whatever you want to call it. I've seen things, and I knew what they were later on because, I was told, but for a split second, I prevent your vision. I seen it, and it looked just like The Grudge. And it was like real pale, and you couldn't see its actual face. It had long, stringy, jet black hair, and that's how my ex kind of looked. If she didn't look bad like that, but that's how she looked because before all this happened, her niece too thought she seen the same thing. But anyway, when I seen it for like maybe 2 seconds, it disappeared. I said, what do you want? And she says, I'm waiting on Michael. And I guess to torment him or whatever, it must was in the house presence. But anyway, I took care of it, prayed it out and everything. But yeah, they are real, and me personally, like I said, my beliefs, if you play with something like that, you're opening yourself up to them, and I don't think it's a good idea. Which I do got friends that are paranormal investigators that have custom ones made for themselves. The guy that I've had on here several times, a good friend of mine, and I respect whatever he does, but me personally, nah, dude, don't play with him.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
Yes. So getting back to the Ouija board thing, like I think the only movie I've ever seen that had a Ouija board in it was The Craft. I really can't think of any other movie that I saw that had a Ouija board. It wasn't like central in the movie, but it kind
Paranormal
of
activity.
Yeah.
And this was like, you got to remember when I was doing this is like 92. Like 90, like before a lot of like that Ouija board, all these weird funky movies that come out. But I will tell you, it did tell me a couple things, and there was one person on there that did say he was a guardian angel. And one thing that always sticks in my head that he says everybody has guardian angels except for one day of the week, and that was just totally weird. And that's the day that usually something bad can happen to you.
Yeah, BS.
So it was weird. Out of the blue, it told me everybody has an angel with them, like 6 days out of the week. Essentially, there is a day that you do not have one, and you need to be careful that day. It was so weird. Anyways,
isn't there like a movie that's out now about some angel that wants to like become like a somebody's guardian angel?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
See the deal when you start, kind of talking about that, it starts getting deep with people's, faith and what they believe. Me personally, there's nothing good. No matter what they tell you good, it's nothing good. You know what I mean? Because, getting back to the cryptid community, the supernatural, the people that think that Bigfoot's real or whatever, okay, that community, they're divided on what they think they are. Because, I've got friends that's got their podcasters, and both of them are, I don't want to get deep in talking about, religion, guys, because I don't want us arguing or nothing, but all of them are Christians, and but one of them believes that they're all physical, animals or whatever, undiscovered, and then then you got on the other spectrum that they think that they're part of the Nephilim, like from in the Bible in Genesis, and then some believe that they're spiritual, and then some think they're more physical. In the supernatural and cryptic community, call it the woo. The woo part of it, supernatural part. But it's interesting. I don't think nobody really truly knows, about the cryptic part. But the supernatural, there's something that I've never heard anybody having good experiences messing with Ouija boards or opening up themselves to spiritual things.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I've ever heard a news story about anybody using a Ouija board that says, "Hey, I just won the lotto because of the Ouija board."
Yeah,
all kind of steered towards the dark, mysterious stuff.
But getting to that, are you guys? What kind of movies y'all like? What are your favorite kind of?
Oh, it's gotta be the action / comedy stuff. I'm
Yeah.
by no means any type of. I hate drama and I hate horror movies.
Really?
Yeah. I can't stand that stuff. Suspense movies too. Yeah. So me, it's basically comedies, horror, comedy, and action movies. Some rom-coms maybe, depending if what type of mood I'm feeling in. But yeah, other than that, that's me.
Yeah, I
like the old. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. That's about yeah. Yeah, go ahead. I was just nobody's talking. I guess I was trying to fill in.
I was going to say that I liked the old horror films. I'm not much on the new ones. They just, I don't know, something about the new ones just don't seem
Agree.
as realistic, I guess.
Like what, like the black and white type horror movies, or like stuff
like
60s, 70s,
like the old Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got kicked out of the theater watching Chucky. The very first Chucky that ever came out, got kicked out because I was laughing too much.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I agree with Jim. I think that horror movies are comedies too. I think 99% of them.
If you look at it that way.
Yeah, I think they really do. Because I had a grandmother that when she passed away, she was 101 years old. And she had total, when she passed away, like 101 total grandchildren. But
no way.
Yeah, but
that's coincidence or not? What do you think?
No, I don't know. It might have been a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. I just think the way it was. Sorry, but
okay.
she was a very not a religious person. I don't know. She was. I never heard her curse her whole life or talk bad about anybody. She's a very decent person. But her favorite movies were Chucky. For some reason, she loved the movies Chucky, and she would laugh at them so much when she would watch them. Yep. And I agree. Me personally, I like movies that's all around the spectrum. I mean, you'll get these like certain kind of movies like Lovecraft type movies, or there's ones that I'm not crazy over, like a certain type of comedy. I don't know the name of the guys because I got bad memory. I'm old and decrepit, but you got certain kind of way that people film movies and stuff that I don't really care for. I'll watch. Like certain dark comedies, because comedies anymore, they ain't like old school comedies, It's different kind of comedy, like a dark comedy, or it's just weird anymore, and I'm more old school at that, but I can't believe you don't like horror movies, Play.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, I'm a little baby. All right, Maywin.
He's scared of horror movies.
What's your type of favorite? What are your favorite
all horror movies?
Genres?
I love all horror movies, from funny ones to stupid ones to to actually scary ones. I love them all.
No.
I don't care.
Mac, what about you?
Mac's asleep. No,
you like silent films, I see.
I watch whatever.
No, really type of genre that you really like.
Not completely. I watch a lot of stuff. A lot of things have let me down lately. A lot of the new movies out these days are kind of like you can either see what's coming or they pretty much give the whole movie away before the previews are over. So it's
I hate that, man. The previews tell the whole movie.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
Or it's another stupid remake. Like I have a big problem with this whole How to Train Your Dragon thing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Like,
tell by your by
not
your
even-
Discord.
Yeah, right. Well, I like the little frame. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was like, my whole thing is like not about the actors. I know there's some drama with that, people who they picked and stuff. But no, it's the whole like why. Why did this need to be made? Like it's literally a 1-for-1 copy of the cartoon, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, why did that need to come out?
Money.
It's not even been.
Executives want money.
It's not even 20 years, is it? Like,
Yeah, I agree.
Because DreamWorks is bored.
Yeah, I agree with you guys.
Kev, what about your type of favorite genre?
I mean, it kind of jumps usually with some stuff. Typically, I do like to watch some monster movies. I am also a big fan of the action comedy. But like, if we're gonna talk about like what my favorite movies and trilogy primarily is probably going to have to be the Tremors series.
Oh, heck yeah.
Aren't they like Tremors 7 or something? Don't they have
No,
an
but there's
insane
like
amount of
8 or 9 or 20 now, probably by now.
It's not 20. I think it's 7 or 8 is what they have in total. But like, I'm talking mainly about the first 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
The other ones afterwards, they're kind of like, okay, yeah, now this feels extremely like a franchise. They're not really
the ones
trying
with
to make a
Kevin
good
Bacon.
one. Kevin Bacon was only in the first one, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was only
Shows
in
you how
one.
many I've seen.
Yeah, but the husband and wife, they were in the second one though. They brought them back.
The
you
gun
talking
nut
about
guy?
Bert?
Yeah, the
Bert
gun nut.
I thought Bert was
yeah.
in like a lot of them.
Bert's in every single one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Okay. Yeah, I know they brought him back, but
I thought
for
he
the
died in one of them, but then
Except
he
for the
was-
last
fourth
one.
one. He
Yeah.
wasn't in the
and then
fourth
the other
one.
guy with Kevin Bacon, he was only in the first couple though too. The other
Not-
co-star or whatever.
Bert, in the fourth one, Bert wasn't brought back, but he was a fucking ancestor because it was sent back 100 years and it was in the Wild West
Oh,
or the
Lord.
Old West.
Wasn't that like a premise of one of the Back to the Future movies? Didn't they go Back to the Future, like literally Back to the Future on that one?
Hey man, it's B movies. You can't really hope for a whole lot.
True.
Well,
Britt. Oh, sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, go ahead. I was fixing to say who's next.
Yeah, Britt. What about you? You a rom-com girl or you a horror movie type
No.
girl?
I am not a huge fan of
Anime?
like, rom-coms or
No.
horror movies. I don't like horror movies. I think part of it is because like as a kid I had really good photographic memory, so anytime I saw like horror movies, that's all I would see like when I was going to sleep. So didn't sleep well anytime I saw like parts of a horror movie when I was younger. Some of my like I like more action or like fantasy movies, but like if we're talking about favorite movies, like it's gonna sound really weird considering how young I am compared to you guys, but like the Monty Python movies are some of my favorite movies in existence.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monty
You
Python
can never
Search
get
for
rid
the Holy
of.
Grail.
Yeah.
Like my dad the other day actually just sent me a
You
clip
guys.
from
know, right? Us old guys.
from
You
like
guys.
the French soldier of like your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries. I fart in your general direction. He literally sent me a clip of that yesterday and he's like, I saw this and thought of you, and I was like, thanks.
Despicable French.
Nice. Okay, so classics. Got it.
Well, I know y'all's gonna probably curse me out, but I've never seen none of the Monty Python.
Oh,
Leaving. Goodbye.
Yeah, guys.
To be on
I'm out of here.
Netflix.
Yeah, it's been nice.
Okay.
What should
You
I
need to
watch
go
first?
stand-
I've only seen the Holy Grail all the way through. I haven't seen any of the other ones, but I've seen bits
Oh,
and pieces.
just you wait.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
you gotta make him watch at least Life of Brian. That's
Yeah.
Which one?
Okay.
Which one should I watch first?
All
Monty
of them.
Python Search for the Holy Grail.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. Holy Grail always. Life of Brian's a very, very good one to watch. And then
I heard that the meaning of life was kind of meh.
it's once you've watched Life of Brian, you might as well watch The Meaning of Life.
Well,
At that point, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you might as well just go ahead and watch
At
it,
that
and
point,
then
you might as well.
and then you're addicted, and you'll go through the Flying Circus series.
Okay.
Nice.
Right.
So it used to be on Netflix, but it's not on there anymore. But if you have Amazon Prime, it's on there now.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I
So everyone
just
has
stopped
it,
my
so-
subscription.
Bold of you to assume
No,
that
you
I don't
didn't.
have mine,
That is true.
It's on BitTorrent.
especially now knowing that it's on Amazon Prime. I was like, watch.
Well, what kind of category wise comedy is that? I mean,
Like shitty
Sh- like
classic
chick
British
flick.
humor.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd say it, yeah,
Called
British
flat
comedy.
Shitty.
I had to try. I had to watch because I like a bunch of different comedies, but I'm probably
Okay.
Blazing Saddles comedy. I like.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
it's-
just about to ask you. I was
Same
just about to
roundhouse.
ask
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Mel
yeah,
Brooks
I
yeah.
was
comedies
just
are
about to
fucking
ask.
amazing.
Is like if you hadn't heard of Mel Brooks, then we definitely all would leave.
I think I like all kind of different comedies, like even Grumpy Old Men. I like black and white movies, but like Gene
City
Wilder, Gene Wilder is probably one of my favorite comedians. The way he
Young
would,
Frankenstein.
the way even in other movies, the way he had presented himself, the way he was funny without, I don't know, in certain ways, just all his movies, man, is brilliant.
Funny
Yeah,
without
he can
trying to
carry
be
himself.
funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not swearing, not trying to fall over, like none of that. He was just a
Yeah.
genuinely good, funny comedian, and he just seemed kind of naturally funny in any of the movies or any of the shows that he did.
Yeah,
This
he's
brings happiness.
interested in life too. I read his biography. It's probably one of the. Yeah, I read his biography, and he was really interesting. How much do you think's true when they write biographies? But you know how it goes. Because I don't believe nothing I hear and half of what I see. But
Yeah,
but he was a brilliant comedian. But I think that when we talk about movies, myself, I don't look up and say I hate this type of genre. I just think that there's just a certain genre I just don't like as much as the other ones, and it would probably be, I don't know, maybe rom-coms, but there's still some that I really like, but you know how that goes. But so we could agree on I should watch Mighty Python.
definitely.
Yeah, I know some of the pop culture quotes from it, but I haven't.
Now you get to see where they came from.
Yeah. There's certain, I got certain limits on like how can I say comedies, because where I'm really my faith, I won't watch things that make fun of certain things to do with my faith, because because you like Game of Thrones, nothing to do with the faith basis, but everybody says watch Game of Thrones. I started watching it, was just too dirty to me. I'm a little old school.
It's pretty nasty in the beginning, yeah. Well, no, it's pretty nasty all the way through. I mean,
and I've got certain ways I believe, and I don't, and that won't stop me from watching a movie, if it's got if it's got certain things in it. I'm trying not to dance around it saying it, but if it's got certain things in it, sexual wise, I won't, not that I won't watch it or nothing like that, but if it's just pure filth, I think that's
it's
just,
something you're not interested in at all.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to understand that Monty Python, he does poke a little bit of fun at religion, but not, he's not heavy-handed with it.
Yeah, and it's not all. Yeah, it's not throughout all of the movies.
And they're not doing incest.
Yeah.
Speaking of incest, Craig, what's your favorite type of
Wow.
Damn.
I had to segue somehow,
Wow.
Shots fired.
Wow. Call somebody out like that. Jeez.
Shit.
What's your kink, Craig?
I mean, that is kind of popular right now.
Oh no. Okay, wait. Okay, let's just skip that. Craig, what's your type of what type of movies do you like?
That, bro?
I like good movies.
Oh, well, okay.
So he hasn't watched a movie in a while.
I don't know. I haven't really been watching too many movies in a while because there hasn't been really any good movies coming out. But
well, like what about classic stuff? Stuff that you watched when maybe growing up, young adult type of stuff. Like what's in your Netflix
comedy.
queue?
Or what do I have on VHS? Yeah, Friday, the movie Friday.
Which one? Friday? Next Friday?
The original.
Friday after next?
The original, bro. The original.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a classic for sure. Really, I like action movies. I really like Marvel type of movies. I'm not saying all Marvel stuff, but I like superhero type action movies. It was always with me and my best friend. We were growing up. We really like X-Men. Before X-Men even came out, we were always like making the cast out. Like, oh, if we made X-Men right now. And one character we always got right was Professor Xavier. We knew was the guy from Star Trek. We always knew that guy would have been the good one. But I think one of the biggest shocks is we always thought Mel Gibson would have been a good Wolverine back in his heyday.
Yeah, I agree.
What was
yeah,
it?
Those
Just
are movies
because of
I like.
After seeing Hugh
because of the
Jackman,
hair? Was it
after
just
seeing Hugh Jackman, though, I don't think I'd say that.
Yeah, but that's hindsight. So yeah, absolutely.
True.
Yeah. Oh. Okay,
I don't
so
think Henry, what's the one that they like the most is that trying to make Henry Cavill Wolverine. At one point, it was like, oh, please don't.
Well, we did get a small.
Oh, in the
taste of
Deadpool movie, yeah.
But that was what people wanted. Actually, they wanted Wolverine to be played by Henry Cavill originally, and I was like, nah.
I can see why, is because Henry Cavill's a buff and gruff kind of actor if he actually plays himself that way. Especially from when the Witcher series came out, he played a very good Geralt, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, if there was one human I'd want to be, it'd probably be him. He's got the looks, everything. I'm jealous of him, for real,
all right, so let me ask one thing here really quick, and everybody will just go down the line. Marvel or DC? Craig? Marvel or DC? Marvel. All right, Britt? Marvel or DC?
Come back to me.
All right, Kev? Marvel or
Marvel.
DC? All right, Mac? Marvel or DC? Okay, Maywin? Marvel or DC?
DC.
All right, Jim? Marvel or DC?
Really don't have a choice in that matter. I mean, both of them have their own good and bad points. So I just can't choose between the two.
You have to choose one, Marvel or DC.
Wow. Just forceful.
I'm gonna go with DC.
Okay. All right, Mac. Marvel or DC?
Which one's Batman?
DC.
There you go. Okay.
All right, Britt. Marvel or DC?
Like, Marvel has some really good movies.
Nope. You need to choose Marvel or DC.
But I like Batman, so I have
There you go. Nice. Well, what about you, Ashes? Do you have a preference?
Yeah, DC, man.
Nice.
When I've seen that, Jack Nicholson, that original Batman, when I was 13 years old, and when I went to school and had a Batman shirt, and the girls were like, "Oh, I love that Batman shirt," and and Prince was singing "Bad Dance," and that was like cool time, late '80s, early '90s. But yeah, definitely DC, man. Let me ask you guys this, and because I've got to tell you this movie. Has anybody seen the first original Accountant movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope everybody has. Kevin, get out of here. All right, Kev, you're not allowed back. You're not allowed back in Discord until you watch the movie.
You uncultured swine.
Wow.
Such anger and hatred.
What?
The reason why I'm asking that is I watched it for the first time like a couple weeks ago, right?
Oh, wow.
And I really enjoyed the movie. Okay, so I look forward to the new one. And it was freaking trash to me. The new one, awful.
Oh, is it out?
Awful.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
You can watch it streaming on streaming service.
So is it
Trash.
anything like the original, like story? No, nothing
trash.
like the original.
Trash.
Is it because the brothers are teaming up that you don't like
No.
about it, or like
No.
what really
Story.
don't you like?
There's no story.
I'm getting the fact that he's saying it's crap.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
Story.
gathering
Okay,
that.
fair enough.
No,
It's
Okay.
not the same movie.
No. Well,
Yeah.
you don't always want the same movie, but that
Kind of have it work like it,
They
Man.
just kind of shit this one out. Like
didn't care. They didn't even know good writing at all, man. There's nothing surprising, no twists, not really. No. Action scene were awful. I've seen better action scenes on a Tuesday night on ABC. You know what I mean? At the end, the showdown, yeah, it's awful. My opinion, but
Okay, so does this get a 0 stars from
Yeah.
Ashes? The Accountant 2?
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
Okay.
I mean, you can
Alright.
sit through it.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if I went to the movies and seen it.
Okay.
There's movies I can't sit through, so you can sit through it.
Okay. So let me ask you this, Ashes.
Hmm.
The Red Dawn remake, is that better than The Accountant 2?
No, I didn't like it.
Okay.
I didn't like that Red Dawn.
Ashes, if you could please kick Plague from the Discord for even mentioning that. Jesus.
Okay, fine. I'll go by.
I mean, there's a lot of movies, guys. Look, there's a lot of movies that I didn't watch until I was like recently, like classics.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that back in the heyday, if I'd have watched them, I'd have really liked them better than I do now. But I didn't watch Top Gun until like a few years back. The original Top Gun, those movies like that. But I didn't watch the original Red Dawn. And I still liked it because I love 80s movies. I really do.
Yeah.
You can watch Taxi Driver and it's still good.
Yeah. There's not a lot of older movies, but there are some older movies that just hold up,
Oh, of course.
Actually, I've never seen
Godfather?
the original Top Gun because I
never
don't
seen
like
the
Tom
original?
Cruise.
Yeah. See, I'm not a big
Oh,
Val
man.
Kilmer fan, so I've seen them both like once.
I'd say the original one was better than all the other ones,
Yeah.
for sure.
What about, okay, when I tell you this, guys, should I watch them? I've never seen the Godfather movies.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
You know,
I
at
would
this
watch
rate,
them.
we're never going to see
100%.
Ashes ever again because he's going to be watching movies by the time we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to watch The Godfather.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like this, like Scarface. Here's the deal with Scarface. I love Scarface until when he kills the sister or the sister that went on. I understand, that was that. The movie's brilliant, very good movie. But I don't know why I haven't watched Godfather, but I've been wanting to watch it. Okay, because like The Sopranos. I always, I never watched it. Breaking Bad is my favorite series of all time. Okay, and Better Call Saul. I went and tried to watch The Sopranos recently, and I've got mostly the first season, and I just, I lost interest in it.
Is it
dated again.
language or
No.
like how they portray it?
Sopranos is just, I don't know. It's kind of dated to me. I don't know.
It's very dated.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Okay, so
trying to struggle through it. It's hard.
Since you brought it up, I do have to ask, and because this was a controversial topic, that's the only reason I'm asking. You said you're a Breaking Bad fan. What were your thoughts on El Camino?
It wasn't trash, but it was okay. I mean, they could have done.
They could have done better.
Yeah, they could have done better. I don't know.
They were trying to give the fans a wrap up, but they really didn't try.
Yeah, they really didn't try, and there's just certain series that I missed the ball on because there was certain, there was times I missed the bus on them because certain times in my life, I didn't have my life straight, and I wasn't watching series or movies or nothing. But yeah, I don't know if I can watch The Sopranos, man. I don't know if I can do it. That's just
then yeah.
It is a little bit generational, like
And
they talk about stuff that was going on then.
Yeah.
So it is contextually 90s. Like
yeah.
So would something better be more like what is it, Mob Worlds? Mob Boss? Mobland, there we go. Yeah. Is that more relevant, do you think, compared to The Sopranos?
Yeah, it's Tom Hardy, brilliant. But yeah, he that's a hell of a series, dude. Because you got Guy Ritchie on that.
Okay.
Guy Ritchie.
Oh God. Yeah, a lot of the old like 90s, early 2000s movies with that Lock, Stock, and Barrel,
and Snatch.
Snatch. Yeah. Those are. I know he did a lot more, but those are the two that really stand out in my mind. So kind of getting back to Top Gun here. What do you think of like the parody movies, like where they did Hot Shots?
I love
the
that
parody of Top Gun. Have you seen that yet, Ashes?
Yeah, I like them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're is everybody a pro or like not pro like parody movies?
I like the parody movies.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, if they're done right, yeah.
Yeah, if they're done right.
I think Scary Movies are the best parody movies ever.
Yeah, agreed.
But there's not none recently at all, man. They haven't brought anything out recently.
Yeah, that parody fad kind of just sort of started dying down. It's kind of hard to find anybody wanting to do a parody movie.
Yeah, because like they're remaking all the movies right now from like the 80s and 90s, so it's kind of like, why would you parody something that some of the studios were just like hacking together, not making it, like decent movies, I feel.
Yeah, everybody's jumping on the nostalgic train right now, the 80s and stuff. Yeah, I love that 80s music playing. So
let me ask you
in the scary movie parody movies, though, they clumped up like all of the movies. And at first it started out with just Scary Movie, but then like 2, 3, and 4 of the parody, it was like, okay, now they're accumulating like all of the scary movies. So I feel like they probably didn't have any more left.
So I have a quick question. How many people are anime fans? And if you are watching anime, what are you watching right now?
Yeah, I'm not. I could never get into
Britt
anime.
is getting excited.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I could never get into anime. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I just can't get into it.
You first, honey. You're the one that's been watching anime the most recent, I'm thinking. Have you not been listening?
No, of course not.
Yeah, she hasn't been looking up from her Switch. No, you were muted. No. Go ahead.
No, it's too late. Damn it.
He had a good joke. He had a good joke.
It was gold. I laughed and I was like, what the fuck? I reached up and it's like my headset's muted. I'm like, oh no. I was robbed.
Well, Britt, come on.
What animes have you been watching?
Jim.
Mostly just been rewatching ones I've already watched.
What's okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of good.
Let me ask you this. Okay, I've never watched the anime. This is a question for Britt. I've never watched one. I've got a nephew that loves them, knows all about them. Okay, what is the deal with anime? What makes them so appealing?
Cartoons.
I think part of it is just like basically just like a different version of a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of almost like nostalgic for me. Like, yeah, there's streaming services, but like when I was a kid, like especially on the weekends, like you wake up and you're just like going to the TV to watch cartoons, or like when you get home from school, when you're done with your homework, just gonna go like watch cartoons. And like nowadays a lot of the cartoons are still like geared towards kids, but like there's the running joke of like animes for children, and then some of the animes you get are like super dark or like geared more towards adults. Like a lot of animes are actually like what would be considered like TV 14 and like up, so like not necessarily geared towards like younger kids like it would be on like Nickelodeon or like Cartoon Network when we were kids.
Yeah. We'll see.
It's also like the animation styles are just also really different. Like if you compare like Yu-Gi-Oh and like Pokemon animation, like when it first came out compared to like some of the animation today, like don't get me wrong, Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon were probably like relatively large budgets, but there are some like animation studios for like some of the newer animes like Demon Slayer or like Solo Leveling where their budget was like astronomical, and you can tell how much like attention into the animation sequences that they put, because if you watch some of the fight scenes from like Demon Slayer or Solo Leveling, you're like, holy shit, this is some like crazy animation. Like,
yeah,
design.
but how much does that work with technology? Like the Pokemon stuff was probably all still traced by hand, versus the newer anime, it's all CGI, and they have just huge rendering farms to be able to get those type of graphics.
Well, so like I don't okay.
Yep.
So the thing about Japan with like animation for like anime is like a lot of times they will work with the original like manga artists, because a lot of animes are like just the animated versions of manga. Like if you watch Demon Slayer and you've never read any of the manga, you'll be like, wow, sometimes they make really weird faces in this, and like because like movies that are adapted from like books, like sometimes it's not always the same. Like they leave out parts or like whatever, or like the director takes like a little bit of a different like turn with it. Like
So
in Japan, a lot of the animation studios will like take literal exact panels from the manga and like animate that. So they're like the amount, if you read into like the amount of time and effort that goes into animating like one season of of an anime, like it's insane hours. Like you see some of the like directors talking about like an anime that they just finished, and they look like they've lost 50 fucking years off their life, because that is all they're doing. Like when they're making like manga, it's not just like one person, it's like a whole entire like floor of a building of people like working on animating or like drawing panels or like translating them, or like the animation studios spend so much time and like money on these projects, it's insane. Like Solo Leveling just had their second season come out, so they haven't confirmed a date, but they already said that they're planning on animating like another season, but just to give their workers time in between, they say it might not come out until 2026 or 2028.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So,
they
like,
take
if
a
you
lot of time.
like if you look at a lot of animes, so like some TV shows, you know, like cartoons, they'll go on for like a bunch of seasons, and there's like a crap ton of episodes per season. On average, like one season is going to be 24 episodes, and that's if they decide to make like a second season.
yeah. I think they're really really super cool. I don't know. Maybe it's when I'm older at a time. You know, I'm just into other stuff and busy, but I think they're cool. Now, my pet peeve is girls that talk like anime and stuff like that. I see a lot of, you know, girls and boys that talk anime and stuff. But yeah, it's I think it's cool cartoons and very artistic. Because my nephew got a bunch of, you know, the magazines and books and movies. And I think Demon Slayer, I don't know if that's his favorite or what, but yeah, it's really interesting.
Here's my thought. I agree totally with what Britt said, but I'd like to add something else. Is like, you know, like back in the day when we were watching like Transformers and stuff, each episode was their own little episode. There was no like timeline. Where the animes now, each
sagas.
episode rolls into the next episode, and you got cliffhangers and stuff like that, and it kind of helps draw you in for the next episode. Where you weren't, I mean, well, like, hey, Transformers is on, but if you missed an episode, it wasn't that big of a deal because you didn't miss. You know, you could watch the next episode without worrying about later going back and seeing that episode that you missed later on, because there was no connection between the two. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, they're doing one movie and then they leave like that cliffhanger to, you know, have you watch the second movie. But it's just they're taking that whole season and making sure that, you know, like you said, each episode leads into one another, where the stuff that we grew up on, it was kind of like, it's just like, hey, you know, did you watch this weekend, you know, Saturday morning of the Transformers? No. Okay. Well, you didn't miss anything. You know, we'll see what happens, you know, this weekend. So
right now I'm watching Overlord. I'm re-watching Overlord. So Britt, here's the famous question: sub or dub?
I see, like, I don't mind dub. I just like, since I started watching anime, which was when I was in like middle school, I've always watched it in sub.
Me too. I'll watch it. I'll watch it in sub first, and then later on, I'll sometimes watch it in dub.
So we talking about Subway and dubstep? What are you guys talking
about?
Oh, man.
Yes,
I knew he was going to say something weird.
Subway
I knew it.
sandwiches.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
That's it, Plague. 100%. You nailed it.
No, I know subtitles or dubbed over. I know. I just had to throw a little joke in there.
Yeah.
We've all learned that whenever he, you know, comes up with a great one, it's like, yeah, buddy, that's it.
Good boy, you did
Good boy.
something.
Yay! Okay, so also on serious note with the anime stuff, what do you anime fans think about was like Speed Racer or like the Mech Warriors? Was that like that first generation of anime, or you guys don't even think that that's what anime has grown from? You know, like those were some of the early Japanese cartoons were like the foundation for what anime is today.
You wouldn't have today if you didn't have Speed Racer and Howl's Moving Castle and Initial D and, you know, the old stuff from back then too. I mean, that, you know, you wouldn't have inspired future generations to make new things.
Okay. Anybody else want to say, you know?
That's what I have to say too.
I was gonna say, I would have said the same thing, because like, as someone who's been to Japan and like seen like their homages, and like, yeah, there's a bunch of places where you go and like any anime related stuff, it's like newer, but then you have like other places in Japan where they have built like full-size animatronics of Gundams.
Yep.
That literally like
That work.
they're articulated, they work. It literally will like transform in the middle of the day, and it's the size of a whole entire fucking ass building. Like, there's like, in the sense of like, yeah, like, obviously they've come a long way from like the animation style and like the graphics, like just like we have with video games and like technology. But there's always going to be that like piece of Japan with like their culture and paying homage to like the creators before them and like people who have been inspired by like, you know, like kind of like what Mac was saying, like we wouldn't have the newer generations without those older ones. Like
Old ones.
it's not like Gundams have become obsolete either. There are literally people that I know that are like, I just bought a new like Gundam figurine and I'm about to build it later, and I'm like, that's cool as shit. I want to see a picture of it, and like,
There are
it's
still people out
crazy.
there that buy an AE86 and fully restore it so that they can have their initial D fantasy.
Yeah, but dude, those you're talking about the car, right?
Yeah, and the reason
Yeah.
that those cars are so expensive and rare is because of that movie, because
Okay.
of that anime. It's just like, well, Akira on less of a thing made ninjas really popular for a little while, but the AE86 from Initial D, that car caused the actual Toyota AE86 to become a collector's item. And now everyone that buys them, they all do the same thing. They paint it white, they put turbos in it, make it fast. You know, like it's always the same because they're doing the movie fantasy thing.
So you don't think the car by itself could sit as a classic? It was.
Well,
it
yeah,
was
it
because
has
of the
its
show.
own. It has its own
Following besides that.
standing, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't be nearly as popular had it not been for all the the guys that are like, oh man, I want to be, and then everybody's like, well, these guys are making cool cars and they're actually kind of all right. So hey, yeah, we'll do it too.
All
Yeah,
right,
I believe the show.
Okay. So since we're on the topic of cars, really quick, import or domestic? Anybody want to say what they like, rather imports or domestic? I.e., like
What application?
Just okay. Let's go racing then. Import or domestic?
You can do pretty much whatever with both.
Yeah.
Okay, but does anybody have like a favorite, like a diehard, like, hey, I'm strictly like Skyline or an AE82 or any of the other import models versus something like a homegrown Dodge, Chevy, Ford. You know, I would say Ram, but we all know, yeah, same as Dodge.
When it comes to job security, I'm gonna have to go with import. When it comes to personal use, I'm gonna have to go domestic. I love my Ram. I loved my Charger. I've had a great time with both vehicles. And I constantly see that every brand that is out there has a slew of problems, and I know that import vehicles are going to be the more economical version that a lot of people are going to go for. So there's more traffic, more cars out there, more cars that are getting either, they're smoking a curb, or they just need an oil change, or their engine goes kaput because someone from the factory didn't screw down this one bolt.
I hear you.
Okay.
I'm whatever gets me from A to B without costing me an arm and a leg.
Yeah. I'm with you.
So,
Honda.
yeah, so electric is what you're saying, Jim, right?
No, that's going to cost you 4 arms and 2 legs.
I was getting ready to say, you go bite your tongue now, sir.
I have a 20-year-old Kia that gets me everywhere just fine, but I mean, I'd love something with a big block and loud exhaust and but it's whatever. I've had both. I've had Chevys and imports and streams. I've had a buddy with a 1500 horsepower Honda, and my stepdad used to race a Nova with about 800 horsepower in it. It's they all have their appeal. And like Kev was saying, every car manufacturer out there, they all have lines with pros and cons. You know, every engine on the market, there's some that are good, there's some that are bad, and it's not manufacturer specific. You know, even on the domestic line, there's Ford Series that are horrible, and pretty much everything Chevy with the displacement on demand is just trash nowadays. So, you know, it comes and goes in different waves.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. 100%.
Tell me I'm wrong with that DOD, Kev.
I mean, the displacement on demand kind of did. I
They
did have
still have
one
it.
small hiccup.
It still exists.
Yeah,
It will burn out half your valves faster than the other half.
Yeah, my truck's got MDS. The cylinder deactivation.
Oh, okay.
And,
Well, then.
And it's a weird
Yeah,
thing because it very rarely comes on while I'm just regularly driving, unless I'm pretty much just coasting. And then all of a sudden, my MPH goes from like somewhere between 16 and 21 to all of a sudden it's now like 34 miles per gallon. But it's like I'm coasting. I was going to be starting to climb up into that anyways. And then anytime I put my foot on the gas, it immediately shuts off, and then I just go back to full 5.7.
Not a fan of it.
I'm personally not a fan, but it costs a lot of money for me to get that turned off.
Well, there's three
So I
ways
just
you
can't
can
deal
do
with
it. I
it.
mean, you can program it out, but I mean, granted,
I
a
can
physical
constantly run
delete.
around until haul mode, but then I can't.
Yeah.
And then I can't use my 8th gear.
There's, you know, or you can pull the engine and do a proper cam swap, and.
Oh. So
It
Asher,
already works on
Yeah.
enough vehicles
Nobody
throughout the
wants
day.
to do that until it
So-
blows up.
yeah. So Asher, let me ask you about your channels then. Like, what prompted you to become a creator?
I kind of touched on it earlier, but I was just where I wasn't working because of my health. You know, I'm retired, and I was gaming anyway. I got back in the game in 2018 because I had a rough stint in my life for some years that you know, I was basically a drug addict, you know, and had a lot of bad things happen in life, like a lot of us do, and you know, went down the wrong path. But I got my life straightened, and when I got my life straightened up, and I started gaming, and then I started uploading videos. I got back playing Xbox, you know, and a couple of my friends still game with, you know, so why don't you make a channel? You're always gaming. So anyway, I started uploading videos without, you know, commentary and shorts. And the channel is, I think, basically, it'll be 3 years old this July, but I've been monetized for about 2.5 years. It took me 9 months to get monetized, and that was back in the day when you had to have 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subs, you know. And
Tell me, what is it now to get monetized?
It still is that, but you can get monetized at 500, you know. And get numbers,
yeah, that
you know,
one.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? I'm talking about fully monetized AdSense. But
Yeah.
well, basically, what happened? It was in 2023, Christmas time. My son, at the time, my ex, we bought some property out in the country. You know, it was a nice place by a lake, and we bought an RV, and you know, everything was paid for. You know, everything going. Usually, when everything goes good, that's when something always happens with the you know, with your partner or whatever you want to call it. But my son built me my PC, and for Christmas, and then that February. I didn't even know. I was scared of it, man. I didn't even know how to turn it on. And then February, my ex, we broke up, and you know, I moved in with my son, and that's when I started, you know, going live and all that, learning, you know, things and OBS, all that. But then starting this channel, the reason why I started it, first of all, my intentions was for I got my friend Grablow, you know, they're from I got one Kiwi, you know, I got Swedish. It was all our buddies, and you know, we was drinking a little bit here and there, and we was just gonna start it and kind of kick it, but none of them really wanted to participate in a way, you know. But I guess I don't know, it's hard to get them all together, and then. You know what? I'm just going to start talking to different people. So that's when I started interviewing content creators and other people. And then I come up with the idea about a month ago that about the paranormal, you know, I'm going state by state each month with the co-hosts, and we're telling 2 stories each about supernaturals or about cryptic or folklore of each state. So, you know, we started, I think the first state was Alaska. I don't know alphabetical order which state we actually done first, but I think we're on, but anyway, I'm dropping them each Saturday, and I call them Whispers Across America, you know. I call
that's cool.
This series, and yep, it was Alabama. We've done Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, and California. So next will be Colorado, or excuse me, we've done Colorado. Connecticut will be this Saturday, and it's usually at 1:15 Central Time, and it'll be a premiere. So yeah, I'm going down the line with that, and if anyone wants to co-host on that, or I'm going to do this too. I'm going to kind of talk about one specific thing, like you know,
like ghost, or like kind of like the mythical creatures, or
certain mythical creatures with certain.
Sorry, I didn't know how to phrase it. Sorry.
Like you think about the labyrinth of, you know, dragons, but
okay.
But you know what I mean, like the Jersey Devil or the Beast of Bray Road or something that people's, you know, heard of.
Plague's looking for leprechauns.
Yeah, leprechauns.
In Indiana,
people.
Nice.
Annabelle doll going on tour.
They have a lot of like in Northeast Oklahoma. They have a lot to do with little people. You know, there's a lot of sightings of supposed little people. You know, and that's, like I said, I've got some close friends that's got cryptic channels that are podcasters, and I've went down the rabbit hole on that in the last couple of years because I had an encounter in 2011. It wasn't a physically seen encounter, but it was something that was freaking weird, man. And I'll tell. Okay. I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
And I think after that, unless y'all got something to add, we might wrap it up. Let me say this with you guys. We've went quite a while, but I've really enjoyed it. I would love to do it again. So, you know, maybe once a month or once every couple months, if y'all guys, you know, want to get things straightened out, that we can do this again. I really did enjoy it and would love to do it again. So I'll let Plague handle the specifics on getting y'all together or whatever, and he can just let me know. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it, like I said, once a month or once, because I put the Whispers Across America out like every Saturday, but I also like to do like a Monday and Wednesday release of other videos. So yeah, but anyway, here's what happened. It was 2011. It was about 2:30 in the morning. I was out smoking a cigarette on my porch. I was married to my second wife. I was sober. I wasn't on any drugs. Wasn't drinking. And probably about 50 yards, 60 yards away, there's some woods. This is in eastern Oklahoma. and our family owned a little bit of the woods, probably an acre or two. But the woods, if you like go in the woods, we used to play in them when we were kids, but you could follow it all the way up until you go to the Arkansas River. You can go anywhere in the woods. You know, it might be a small strip, but then it'd go to a, you know, big woods or whatever, you know. But what I'm saying is you could go in the woods and keep walking in woods for hundreds of miles, you know. It might be thin or whatever. So it's just not like 2 or 3 acres of woods and then there's houses all around, you know. You can actually run through there for hundreds of miles, but you know, some would be thin and some would be wider. But it was about that time, 2:30, and I heard something like crashing through the woods, and what it sounded like a freaking Volkswagen coming through the woods, or an elephant. And I could see the moonlight, you know, I could see pretty good. So I'm sitting there looking, and when certain situations happen, your mind tries to rationalize things. Because I remember thinking, dude, this is like a ATV, you know, or these side-by-sides, they call them mules. And I said, man, that sounds like a mule. Why would somebody be on ATV, you know, 2:30 in the morning? But here's the deal. I did not hear a motor. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing crashing. And while I was thinking about that, okay, there's not a motor. This is all in a split second. You know, whatever the time frame was, I don't hear a motor. It's not a car. It's not ATV. It sounds like a freaking elephant coming through there. And it sounds like Jurassic Park or something. You know, I'm hearing it breaking trees and everything. So I look, and when I'm looking, I don't know how tall these trees were, but I remember seeing them like parting. You know what I mean? I knew something physical, bipedal, you know, on two legs was coming through there fast. And but it put me in the mind of Jurassic Park. So then I remember I'm kind of getting like in shock, you know, like thinking, what in the world? What the hell is this, man? What is this? Okay. So you got to think it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm about 50 yards away, I guess. You know, it wasn't close. I wasn't super far away. Maybe 40 to 50, you know, something. So, and these woods right here, the edge used to be an old country church that my family built. It was burnt down, so that's gone. It's just, but anyway, and then it comes out to a clearing, and then there's a dirt road, you know, that kind of circles in this community that all family. But anyway, I'm just looking at it. I can barely see the trees. I don't see anything. I just see the trees parting. I hear the crashing. You know, I'm kind of in shock. Well, when it gets, I can see the trees parting. When it gets to the edge, it stops. When it stops, you know what I'm saying? What's going on here? When I'm thinking that, it roars, and when it roars, it sounds like a freaking lion, but guttural roar, real deep. And from that distance, I could feel my guts vibrating, my insides. And I've been to some races. I've been to Top Fuel funny cars, Indy race, and NASCAR. It was like that without the race car, and it roared probably for maybe 3 seconds. And I've had some traumatic things happen in my life that I've been scared, you know. But when this happened, I was so freaking scared. I can't actually remember what happened next. I know that I opened up my door and went inside and was scared, and I was scared stiff. Now I can't remember what else happened. I can't remember if I went and woke my wife up at the time, which was, you know, God bless her, total bitch. But anyway, you know, I can't remember if I got on my knees and started praying or whatever happened. But yeah, that was something that I didn't think it was Bigfoot then. I didn't think it was a cryptid. I didn't know what to think about it until about 2 years ago, and then I started deep diving, and I've heard probably 300 stories about the same exact things would happen. And a Bigfoot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's not and it wasn't a bear, dude. There's no way a bear would walk that distance
2 feet
through
for
the
that
woods.
long. Yeah.
Third of all, bears, they're rare, and in our area, there's black bears. Rarely a black bear's been seen, and and it was a roar that I'll never forget. But I've heard several stories that exactly the same would happen to people. But it was a freaky situation. I'm not saying it was Bigfoot. I'm not saying what it was. I don't know. But if I was a betting man, I'd say it was some kind of cryptic. But I know for sure it wasn't a bear.
Yeah.
It was
but hey,
experience.
I mean, dude, it threw you like, hey, this is something that happened to you, and you can still remember a lot of details. So
yeah,
definitely something that stuck with you. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think, and I do believe that there's things out there, man, that we don't understand. Because if you just think you're, like I said, alone in this world, you got things twisted. I mean, look at the ocean. We only just what a third of it has been discovered. And there could be anything out there. But there's a lot of supernatural stuff. I mean, it's like, I don't want to get into it now because we've been going a long time and I've got to eat them.
It'll be for another discussion.
We'll save it, but we'll go down that path the next time. But look, guys, is there anything you want to add before I wrap this up? I mean, don't disconnect, but I'm going to end the video or whatever.
All right. All I got to say is Baba Booa, Baba Booa. That's all I got to say.
I do not know what the hell you're talking about. But...
yeah, nobody else does either, it sounds like. Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, you could just skip that part. But no,
hey, I know that part's going in.
Damn it. No, just thanks for having us. I had a blast, learned a lot about a lot of stuff, so I think it was a fun discussion and touched on a lot of different topics. And yeah, I think overall it was fun.
I enjoyed it, guys. I mean, it's good to talk with people. And because me personally, when I watch other podcasts, most of them is about curiosity, what other people from different places, and what do they think about things. I love people's opinions and stuff, and I enjoy talking to people in general. But yeah, if you guys don't have nothing to add, I'll end it.
All right, yeah, definitely, yeah.
I don't got anything.
Thanks for having us.
All right,
yeah,
I do
definitely.
appreciate having us come on.
Yeah,
Yep.
Love to have you guys back. I enjoyed this. So, but anyway, everybody out there in YouTube land, I appreciate you watching this video. Don't forget to check out D-Pleg's YouTube channel. I'll drop the link in the description of the video to comments. But yeah, go over there and give him a sub and a like, and check him out, guys. My super nice viewers. But yeah, he plays a lot of DayZ, PvE, and it's real enjoyable content. The guy's funny. He got a good crew backing him. But anyway, out there, YouTube land, I appreciate y'all watching. Until next time, guys, peace out.